Hey everyone, Luke.
Sorry about that. Hey everyone, Luke Dog here, and welcome to Assassin's Creed Unity. Yep, we're diving back into the Animus now, and we're going to be experiencing the French Revolution. Now, I had planned on doing this earlier, but I think you remember, I believe at the beginning of my Dragon Age Origins playthrough, I mentioned that I was going to play a game, but technical difficulties caused me not to be able to do that. Yeah, that was this game. Basically, something happened with the PS4 where, like, the game data got corrupted or something like that. So, I'm hoping that it's good now. So, we're gonna see.
The past is not lost. The past lives inside us. Encoded in the double helix are the experiences of our ancestors. After 3 decades of research, our engineers have forged the cutting edge of biotechnological interfaces. We have unlocked the lives of our forebears. We have opened a window into the past. This is total immersion entertainment. With the press of a button, you will experience the most pivotal moments in history. All from the comfort of home. Welcome to Helix, where the past is your playground.
So yeah, I've played like the first 2 or 3 sequences of this, so that's why you probably won't be seeing many trophies popping up. So let's begin with the tragedy of Jacques de Molay.
Last of the heroic Knights Templar, Jacques de Molay was a man of principle, a towering intellect, betrayed by those he trusted. In this episode of Fallen Heroes, experience Jacques de Molay's final tragic hours through the eyes of one of his closest friends and advisors.
And going back to what I said, no, I do not believe it's the game that was the problem. I think it was actually the PlayStation 4 having trouble reading the disc or something. So I don't hold that against the game. Just so we're clear, because I know a lot of people complained about how Unity had a whole bunch of major problems at launch. So much so that Ubisoft actually released a DLC for free to try and make up for it.
Who goes there?
A friend of the temple.
Fluarak. The Council's message was absolute. You're not welcome here.
I must speak with the Grand Master.
He's in session. They all are. Another day, perhaps.
King Philip disagrees.
Damn you, man. Why you're not rotting in a cell at this moment, I cannot fathom.
We are betrayed. Draw your swords, men. Defend the temple. Not you, brother. I have a different task for you. Come with me.
King Philip's moving faster than we expected.
Another hand is at work here.
The Pope?
The assassins.
Assassins? I thought the Mongol Khans broke their power decades ago.
The assassins are far older than Masyaf, my friend. Their anarchic delusions are virulent as the plague, less easily eradicated.
Okay, before we head on, let's check the database. Jacques de Molay, born between 1245 and 1250. Now that's a long labor. He was born, no doubt, in Malay, Haute-Sarne. And I also apologize if I mess up these French names. I did take French in high school, but that was over a decade ago at this point. He was received into the Order of the Templars at the Bon House in 1265. After the fall of Acre, a general chapter meeting of the Order met in Cyprus in September 1291. He was elected Grand Master on April 20th, 1292, and led the Templars to the height of power. Under his influence, the course of European history would change for the better. In 1307, Philip IV of France and Pope Clement V concocted a scheme to destroy the Templar Order. King Philip, deep in debt to the order, drummed up largely unsubstantiated charges of heresy and blasphemy against de Molay and his followers. On October 13th, coordinated raids ended with the arrest of nearly every Templar in France. On May 2nd, 1312, the Pope officially dissolved the order and gifted all of its assets to the Knights Hospitalier. In March of 1314, Jacques de Molay was burned at the stake. With him died one of the greatest civilizing forces of Western Europe. In 2001, researchers at the Vatican Secret Archives uncovered a document written in 1308 by Pope Clement which absolved Jacques de Molay of all charges. How the parchment was lost remains a mystery, though I think we can agree it didn't lose itself.
We will not prevail this night, but if you make haste, we may yet save our order.
What must I do?
Go to the tower. Take the sword and the book. Hide them. They must not fall into the assassin's hands.
Grandmaster,
Go!
So yeah, the dates, of course, it's obvious that this takes place at least a couple decades after Altair died. Wait, no, he was in the early 1200s, wasn't he? So yeah, a couple decades to less than a century after Altair, since they mentioned the Mongols driving them out of Masyaf. Okay, persecution of the Templars under Philip the Fair. When Philip IV of France, known as Philip the Fair, came to the throne in October 1285, he was determined to reorganize the kingdom's finances. The Crown of France was in substantial debt to the Order of the Knights Templar, which had become an order of rich bankers. In order to seize its fortune and destroy its political importance, Philip the Fair decreed the order dissolved. He promptly arrested all the Templars in France and urged other European sovereigns to follow suit. Arrested in Paris, 138 Templars faced the accusations of Guillaume Imbert de Paris, head of the Inquisition in France. Among other blasphemies, the Templars were accused of worshipping an odd idol, Baphomet. Legend has it that, at his execution, Jacques de Molay placed a deadly curse on his accusers. Pope Clement, Chevalier Guillaume de Nogaret, King Philip, I summon you to the tribunal of heaven before the year's out. Curse you, curse you, curse you. Curse you all until the 13th generation of your progeny. I'm totally using that the next time I'm thrown out of the local pub. Curse you all until the 13th generation of your progeny. Esquire de Florac, a courier of the Convent of Montfaucon. Esquire had been imprisoned at the same time as a renegade Templar. Esquire and this unnamed Templar confided in each other, whereupon the Templar allegedly revealed a great many vices and misdeeds within the order. Upon the strength of this evidence, the Order of the Poor Knights of the Temple of Solomon, the Knights Templar, were rounded up and destroyed.
Hold the bridge! Hold! Dad! I have to take a different way.
Wanna fight? Okay. Bye-bye. Climb up the ladder, please. Oh. Sploosh. Yeah, I'm just gotta get used to the controls now.
Stop it!
I saw you.
Don't let him
The tower! They've breached the tower! They've taken them!
Get back here. Parry. Dodge. Flashbang. Great. Nope. Introducing the Sword of Eden.
Pope Clement, hear me? Before this year is out, you will answer for your crimes before God Almighty! And you, King Philip, no punishment is too heinous for the great evil you have inflicted upon the temple! I curse you! Curse you to the 13th generation of your blood! You shall be cursed!
Consumed in flames of hunger and wrath, thus came the age of true wisdom to a blistering close. The Knights Templar, once the proud shepherds of order, peace, and illumination, were no more.
let's get a sniffer running. If Abstergo pings us, pull me out. Okay. I have a visual. Hey there. This is probably disorienting, so I'll be brief. I'm Bishop, not my real name, obviously, but that's as much as you'll get today. Please listen carefully. Abstergo is using you, hijacking your neurons to help them sift through genetic memory data. These guys already have their fingers in countless corporations, governments, media outlets, and NGOs. But now, they want control over history itself. If that doesn't frighten you, it should. But we're here to stop them, and I need your help. Deacon, preload gene sequence AD16, B13, I87.
Yep, spooling it up.
Last week, we gained access to a bank of unsequenced memories in Abstergo's Helix servers. For now, we'd like you to experience a small sample. This should help you understand our struggle. And after that, you can decide for yourself what comes next. We'll be waiting.
Mom! Some random person just hacked into my game system. Should we call the police?
Arno.
Can't I go with you, Father?
Courage, my boy. You wait just here. I will return when this hand reaches the top.
That's forever.
Not as long as all that. And when I get back, we'll see the fireworks. And Arno, no exploring, hmm?
Yes, Father.
Palace de Versailles. Originally a hunting lodge built for Louis XIII, the Palace of Versailles was expanded into one of the largest palaces in the world, and the seat of the French monarchy, under the reign of his successor, Louis XIV. The royal family abandoned the palace for the Tuileries in Paris at the outset of the French Revolution. After the king's arrest, Versailles, along with all royal possessions, was confiscated and sealed. The furnishings were sold at auction in 1793, and in 1794 it was turned into a museum. Odd. They got rid of everything in it and then turned it into a museum. What were people supposed to look at? Small signs saying a fancy chair used to be here? Despite the various restorations, empires, and revolutions that followed, Versailles would never again be a center of political power.
You'd rather sit without, Prune? Come. Too slow.
Wait up! Pardon.
Just you wait till the guards get here.
Quickly, quickly. Allez. Bet you can't steal one.
You mean like this?
Thief! Put that back!
Break your pursuer's line of sight.
Put that away now!
This is how you evade. map's color reflects the enemy state. Yellow is suspicious, red is conflict. When the icon fills with yellow, the enemies are suspicious. When it completely fills with red, they will enter conflict. So we can use that to lure people away from certain spots.
Hold there, damn you!
Like this. Sneak, sneak, sneak.
Hurry, through here. Did you see their faces when we stole those apples?
I'm Arno.
Elise.
I'm here with my father.
So am I. He has important business with the king.
What should we do now?
Shh. Listen. Don't worry, they'll never think to look for us in here.
It was my fault. I'm the one who took the apple.
Let's see where they're going.
Some of you may be wondering why they're speaking with English accents instead of French. From what I heard, I believe it's because test groups actually preferred the English accent because the French one sounded a lot more less elegant or
Something's happened.
something like that. Less attractive.
Hurry up.
It just had to do with the French accent in general. Just the sound of it wasn't as appealing as an
Hurry,
English one.
something's happened.
At least that's what I've heard.
Unfortunate affair does not darken your opinion
Keeper?
of our nation.
Monsieur, if we judged nations by the character of their criminals, we should all be called barbarians.
That does not sound like Benjamin Franklin. Why do I sense the look of the Irish?
Elise,
Father?
come here, girl. Now.
Father?
Come away, boy.
Arno. Arno. Look at me.
So yeah, Arno's dad was the guy Shay killed at the end of Rogue. Just feels nice how that all these games are become connected through that. I mean, if you remember at the end of Rogue, Charles mentioned Connor in AC3.
Can't win fairly at cards, so you stoop to thieving, you bastard!
Calm down, Victor. I've only come for my watch.
It's my watch. I want it fairly.
Well, in a just world, Victor, I would agree with you, but this is not a just world. This is France.
You're a dead man.
Oh, step lightly there. You'll hurt yourself. I just had a nice chat with your brother.
Hugo, fetch the marshals.
Hold on a minute. Diable.
I've got it, Victor.
Victor and Hugo, obviously named after the famous French writer Victor Hugo, responsible for The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Les Miserables. The book, not the musical.
Pardon, madam.
One more.
We can come to an understanding. Please excuse him. He's not housebroken.
Here we go. Excuse me.
Thick-headed blacksmith like you probably can't even read or watch.
Come over here and say that!
No.
Get back here!
Time to go.
Over there! I'm gonna smash your skull into the face!
Ah, yes. A wise man knows when to admit defeat, Victor.
Go, go. Move it, move it! Okay, can't go that way. Never mind. Francois de la Serre. Little information about Francois de la Serre survives. A minor nobleman, he kept an estate in Versailles and a smaller house in Paris, and was known to be a close confidant of the king and of Mirabeau. His wife Julie died sometime around 1777, and de la Serre was left to raise his daughter Elise on his own. Arno Victor Dorian. Born to Charles and Marie Dorian in 1768, Arno appears to have spent most of his early childhood traveling around Europe and North Africa with his father, his mother having left after what was described as a philosophical difference. Philosophical difference here can be taken to mean found out her husband killed people for political reasons. I imagine she was very keen to consciously uncouple from that guy as quickly as possible. Arno drops out of the historical record until the mid-1780s, when his name comes up in several dispatches from the Marshalsea in and around Versailles. Fragmented records identify him as a prisoner in the Bastille in 1789, but he was not among the prisoners liberated when the fortress was stormed. The only other direct reference to an Arno Dorian are in the journals of Napoleon, in entries dated August 1792, October 1795, and May 1808. I'm still working to dig up more details on Arno's relationship to Napoleon. Suffice to say they had an interesting friendship, in the way that a philosophical difference can be interesting. Welcome to the city of Versailles. Let's get a viewpoint. Right, I gotta press X to start climbing. Up.
Il va se faire mal.
Climb over here. Getting used to the new climbing and button inputs. New engine, so everything gets remapped and stuff. There you go. Synchronize with the viewpoint. Where's the haystack? Yep, this is an Assassin's Creed game. So how about... Oh, this is just for Psi in general. Okay. Let's go around and get some chests. Excuse me. Yeah, this would probably just... This video will probably just consist of mainly going around for Psi and getting collectibles. So I figure, why not? It's on the map, might as well get it and try and declutter some of this.
Lâchez donc cette mégère à la lit velue. Venez plutôt vous divertir en ma compagnie.
No thanks, madame. Can't go through there. This does not have an upstairs. Just is... There it is. No, that's the gold one. Never mind. Where are you at? Ah, there you are.
Non, où va-t-il donc?
Get down, Arno. You are just around here. Ta-da! On to the next one. This one has guards. Just gonna take this quickly. Don't mind me.
Come here, you maggots! I'll grind your boneless spine to powder!
Yeah, I don't think so.
You there! Oh!
See ya. Never saw me again. I almost feel like there's something up here. You know, it would just make sense to have something on top of a windmill. Every time he starts sliding, I fear that he's just going to slide off. Ooh, here's something. Cockade! One of 8. What are cockades, you ask? A circle of ribbons, usually worn on a hat. The cockade of the Revolution represented the color we see today in the French flag. Blue, white, and red. Sometimes known as the tricolor. The idea of the three-color flag was presented to Louis XVI by Lafayette during their meeting at the Hôtel de Ville on July 17, 1789. Next to the blue and red colors of the cockade of Paris, Lafayette had added the white cockade of the monarchy, conferring upon the sovereign a central role in the new definition of powers. Note that the king didn't last, but his symbol did. Okay, we want to go where? This way. Duh. Yeah, I know I got that already. I'll just drop down. Eek. Oh, another cockade. I feel like the cockades only show up if you run by them. Or maybe they do show up on the map. I don't know. 1, 2, 3. There's a fourth one somewhere. I don't know. Climb up, Arno. Up too high. Oh, climb that. That was a waste. Climb this then. You're not even up here. There we go. Okay, onto that chest. Free running, I think, is not too bad. This is a dead end. Inputs are decent. Just gotta get used to the new ones. Of course, I know people complain that, you know, they preferred the older versions. But this serves its purpose. Next. Just gotta remember that I have to actually press X or circle to make him go up or down, instead of just holding it like I usually do. Of course, I could hold it as well, and I just realized I passed it. Again, I'm just getting used to playing an Assassin's Creed game again. You are upstairs. I just love these ambient animations. People actually working, milling about. Helps give life to the place. He says as he just runs by. Sorry, I'm just looking for a chest. Must be up. What is eagle vision? Nope. Oh, eagle vision. Triangle. Yep, it's up. I am going the complete wrong way. Look at your map. I'm just looking around in the actual world, and it's like, you're supposed to be heading west, you know that? Excuse me. So someone's having a little party over here. This is nice. Excusez-moi. See, it's scenes like that I really like when they put into open world games. Again, it just brings life into the place. Dynamic.
Where are you going?
I'm just gonna take this.
You don't want to annoy the top of a pine? Stop! Right bloody there!
No, I don't feel like it.
Or for the flesh of your skull.
Instead, I'm gonna go up here and get this cockade. There it is. There's a chest right over here. What else we got? Oh, I want the chest. Off we go. Come on, Arno. Climb. And drop. Excusez-moi. Okay, never mind.
Quelle outrecuidance.
Sorry. It's gotta be up here then. Wasn't this where he was just at? Yeah, I was just here. Okay. You are below me. That's why. Where are you? Here you are. I hear that sparkling. Oh, you're at the foot of the bed. Everyone's blocking you. That's why.
Je te jure que je finirai le travail des frères Vanésil. Tu me paieras ça de ta vie.
This cockade.
Ça que les bourgeois n'auront pas.
Cela donne d'ailleurs une tour.
Poof. That's all the cockades for this half. We just got one more chest, and then we can go on to the second one. There you are. No, Arno, you're supposed to climb on it. Here we go. And that's just for this district. Halfway there. Yep. Keep climbing. Not what I wanted you to do, but I'll take it. Here you are. On to this viewpoint. San Luis. Why am I climbing up this tree? I have no idea. There we go. Nope. Up the... No. No, Arno. There you go. Plays the haystack. Every time this music starts playing when I get closer, I just keep expecting to hear Ezio's family start. And zoom in. Let's see what this blue chest is. Hey, run.
Off with you.
I was gonna say, I will be surprised if you don't notice me.
Then fight. Be a man.
No, I don't feel like it. Go away. I'm gonna go get this cockade. Yoink. Okay, let's start down here and work our way north toward our objective. Sorry. Excusez-moi. Hotel de Menus Plaisirs. Built at the command of Louis XV to house the organization responsible for preparing royal ceremonies and festivals, the Hotel des Menus Plaisirs in Versailles is most famous as the site of the Estates General in 1789. During the Revolution, it served variously as a courthouse, barracks, and bread distribution center. Much of the historical building was destroyed in 1800 when the property was sold to a private citizen. Today, the site is home to the Centre de Baroque Musique de Versailles. Huh, it became a museum. look at you while I'm here. Excuse me. I believe you are upstairs. Yoink. As for this gold one. Ooh. Billiards? Let me just get out of here, please. Come on up. Okay, continuing onward. Let's take this rope across. Get this cockade. Yoink. Drop.
I'll have a word, I mean it!
Uh-huh.
Is it a new face unit? You won't get away!
I think I will.
Joke! Jumping on
Running, 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 running. Ooh, juggler. We'll just stay here until the crowd goes away. There we go. Anyway, nice juggling, but I gotta get going. That was some interesting juggling right there. Moving right along. Scusi. No, that's Italian, not French. Sorry. Sorry.
Probablement un voleur qui suit les gardes.
No, you're up. Okay. Hey, you are. How many cockades do I have? 2 left? Okay, keep your eye out. Oh, you're way over there. And every time he drops down like that, I always... Sorry. I'm always fearful I'll take damage. Of course, I'm telling them to drop down, so... You're on the second floor. Sorry. Inspector. Everything is in order. Whoop. Lots of angles in these buildings. Looks like someone's having a little party over here. Maybe I shouldn't disturb them. Lovely dresses, though. Bonjour, madame. Comment ça va? I'm just gonna cut through here. Don't mind me.
You want me to come over there and crush you pillock? Hey, that's right, I'm talking to you, shithead.
Get the hell out of my bleeding
I'll wipe
face.
that bloody smirk off your face.
Yeah, I don't think so. Bye-bye.
Get the bastard!
Tear the bastard out.
Oh yeah, they have guns now.
Shoot the bastard!
Good luck with that. And now my jacket's wet and bloody. Good luck with that. Wow, that's a lot of blood. Got some medicine. Back to what we were doing, which is chests. It's just right over there, but I got this one marked. In the window, please. Arno, come on. There we go. Yoink. This is the French Revolution. Well, right now it's shortly before.
Viva la Revolution!
Yep.
Look at that stylish ponytail.
So yeah, we started out, we were actually a little kid back in 1776 when our father was visiting Versailles. No, the Royal Palace in Paris, actually. Point is, he was meeting with the king. And of course, later on, we met a friend there. We went off and played for a bit. Then suddenly we saw a commotion, and it turns out our father had been killed. And And our father was the guy that Shay Cormac kills at the end of Assassin's Creed Rogue. So that's how this connects. What's even more is that that event took place when Benjamin Franklin was in Paris to get aid for the American Revolution. So Connor's still around.
And where in God's name have you been?
Ha! Got you now, you little shit!
Just a little misunderstanding. Nothing to...
Your master's harboring a common criminal. In broad daylight, he broke into my home and stole my watch.
Did he indeed? Well, I'm sure the Marshalsea would be more than willing to sort this out.
Sort what out, Olivier?
A most serious accusation against your ward, sir.
He robbed me.
Of what, precisely? Wait for me in my library.
Don't give me that look. Victor cheats when he plays Pharaoh. Everyone knows it.
Arno? Who are you talking to?
No one, monsieur.
You'll be happy to learn I persuaded Olivier to leave off calling the Marshalsea. Again.
Je vous remercie, monsieur.
What is this? The 6th time? The 7th? Perhaps a new hobby might be better for your health.
Well, I find playing cards affords many opportunities for fresh air and exercise.
We'll talk about this later. I have business in town and must collect Elise before I can attend to it.
Elise is here?
Only for the night. She returns to Paris first thing tomorrow.
She'll need an escort. Won't she, with you so preoccupied?
One of you running amok is quite enough. Remain here and see if Olivier has any chores for you.
I'm sure he does.
What was that?
Give my regards to Elise.
So yeah, now this is like late 1700s now. So, American Revolution's already gone. The village of Versailles. When Louis XIII built his first hunting lodge in the village of Versailles in 1623, it was surrounded by vast forests where the king could indulge in his favorite sport. It was his son Louis XIV who decided to make it the central point of France. In the 1660s, he decided to construct a chateau commensurate with his ambition to control the French state. In actual fact, he left Paris behind for fear of the revolts he had known as a child during the Fronde. In short, he no longer wanted to be subject to the fervor of Parisian crowds. Between 1665 and 1680, some 25,000 men and 6,000 horses busied themselves daily. One team worked days, the other nights by torchlight. The church apparently tolerated work on Sundays. The French king wanted the magnificence of the palace to reveal his unequaled power to the rest of Europe, as capable of forcing nature as he was of imposing his law on the world. Versailles was a showcase. Nothing short of perfection would be tolerated. I find it hard enough to install decking. Mind you, I didn't have 6,000 horses to help me. Not that they were much good with hammers. The village of Versailles would also quickly develop, if only to accommodate all the courtiers. In 1682, they numbered 6,000. By 1690, their numbers had reached 10,000. To ensure their continued presence in Versailles, Louis XIV determined that all buildings erected in Versailles be non-liable to seizure for debt, which made the village particularly attractive. Louis XV and Louis XVI would both make a great many changes to the chateau, while transforming the village into a hub from which the royal administration exerted its power. It was in the Salle des Menus Plaisirs, literally the room of lesser pleasures, essentially a storeroom for royal decorations and disguises, that the Estates General was held in May 1789. Okay, I wanted to go get more chests, and I got distracted and didn't realize I was going for the main thing. There you are. You're upstairs. There you go. There's a cockade. Hopping around a building. Yep, this is Versailles.
You know how I come?
How? Yeah. Just a few more chests. We are a person with, using an Abstergo entertainment thing or whatever, and then the assassins kind of hack into our system and basically say, hey, we're going to use you to help us with something in the French Revolution. But yeah, it basically just says, hi, Abstergo's evil, you're going to help us. Well, yeah, I basically made a joke where it's like, Mom, someone hacked my system. Should I call the police? Oh, it's above me. No, there are no guards on roofs. But they do have guns. I can do that, yeah. Just guys and some goats. Now I just need this cockade, which is right out here. There we go. And it's at this point where I would have gotten an achievement. I already got it.
Stand back up now, citizen!
Time to get back to the... Yeah. I hesitate to call it a chateau.
Hello, boys.
Thrown out onto the street yet?
Oh, you would love that, wouldn't you?
It'd break my heart.
Olivier, if I weren't here, who'd do all your work for you?
The horses need brushing, boy. Get to it.
Certainement, monsieur.
Get him, Dad. Get him.
Sire de la Serre, wait! Nom de Dieu. Nom de Dieu, nom de Dieu.
Some trouble, mon ami?
A letter for Sire de la Serre. It's very important.
Oh, calm yourself, Perrault. That letter won't reach Monsieur de la Serre any faster if you drop dead of exhaustion. Give it here. I'll catch you.
You must receive it today. It's very...
Very important. Yes, I heard you the first time. I'll see that he gets it.
Monsieur de la Serre! Stop! Make way, make way!
Gotta catch up with the carriage. Where's the music? It's right here.
Monsieur de la Serre! Mes excuses. Wrong carriage.
What I need is a bird's eye view.
We know what that means. Welcome to the database. Hello, we haven't met, but you can call me Sean. I just thought I'd say, it seems Abstergo has put together rather a lovely historical database that you can peruse as you're running about. Unfortunately for you, the historian gave things a bit of a... well, let's just say they have a particular viewpoint they're keen to get across. By which I mean they're Templars, and they think like Templars, and they lie about people who aren't Templars. So I'm just going to go through and add in some explanatory footnotes as I go to give you a bit more of a balanced perspective. Well, I'll try for balance. I'll aim for it. Balance is certainly something worth striving for, or at least thinking about. Or maybe I'll just mention it here and you can be your own judge. Also, and far be it from me to criticize, but they've given it quite some effort. But the way they write their history is dry as a freeze-dried, dry-cleaned, dry thing with particular chronic case of dry mouth, which has been left out in the sun and then popped in the oven. So let me at least attempt to make it that smidgen more readable. Although that's the last time I'll ever use the word smidgen. Yep, Sean's back. Sean here. Look, I just want to get this out of the way because as soon as anyone mentions the French Revolution, someone else's eyes light up and they start singing "Do You Hear the People Sing" in that weird way people do when they're both talking and singing at the same time. And then I have to listen to a god-awful rendition of the song from that god-awful musical, and I seriously start to consider trapping my fingers in the door just so I have something else to think about. The French Revolution, the one you're in, started in 1789. Have you got that? Les Miserables, the novel by Victor Hugo, later turned to a musical by someone who very clearly hates me personally and is dead set on making my life a living, breathing hell, is set in Paris in the time period between 1815 and 1832, which was an entirely different revolution. Stop looking for Jean Valjean, alright? He is not here. Anyway, I prefer cats. It's more believable. Yeah. Time to climb up a church.
Teach me how to climb.
Well, new engine, new bun commands.
Spider monkey over here. Why is that up there? Oh, that's good. Oh, that's even worse.
Press triangle to use eagle vision. It also has a cooldown. Time to blend. Yeah. It's not too bad. See? Now I can use it again already. Everyone's wearing the same pastel color. Yeah. Obviously, I skipped the memo.
Yeah. Who wears black and white?
This is a blue. Sneak, sneak. Just act like you belong here. The Estates General of 1789. The Estates General was a general assembly representing the three classes or estates of French society: the clergy, the first estate; the nobility, the second estate; and the peasantry, the third estate. The Estates General was not a legislative body like the English Parliament, rather its role was to advise the king, with whom all authority lay. I've often imagined what it might be like to be a king. I think my first rule would be to make all crime illegal. Boom, just like that. You're welcome. It was infrequently called. Before the onset of the Revolution, the last meeting of the Estates General was in 1614. The Estates General sat for several weeks in May and June 1789 to address the financial crisis facing the realm, thanks in no small part to the French government's role in financing the American Revolution. The meeting quickly came to an impasse when the first item on the agenda, however, whether the Estates General should vote collectively by estate, which would give an advantage to the first and second estates, or vote individually, which would give the more numerous third estate the advantage. Deadlocked, the deputies of the third estate began to discuss political reforms rather than the financial crisis that had been the original agenda. The meeting of the Estates General dissolved when the third estate declared itself the National Assembly and announced that it would conduct the nation's affairs. The first and second estates were invited to join the assembly, but it was clear which way the political wind was blowing. The French Revolution was beginning. If the first estate was the church and the second estate was the nobility, the third estate was everyone else. It comprised beggars, peasants, the bourgeoisie, notaries, doctors, lawyers, artisans, bankers, and even scholars, who at the time represented approximately 96% of the population. I don't think that means 96% of the population were scholars. If it did, this would be one terrifically nerdy time period. I dare say you and I would have fit in rather well. In a pamphlet entitled What is the Third Estate, published in 1789, Sieyès wrote, "What is the Third Estate? Everything. What has it been until now in the political order? Nothing. What does it ask? To become something. Nothing be done without it. Everything would be infinitely better without the other two orders." Excusez-moi.
Un long intervalle s'était écoulé depuis une dernière venue des États généraux. Et quoique la convocation de ces assemblées parut être tombée en désuétude, je n'ai pas balancé à rétablir un usage dont le royaume peut tirer une nouvelle forme. Ce de bonheur.
There's the king.
De l'État, déjà immense.
Yeah, that's King Louis. He's the one talking.
Louis, how we doing, buddy?
Une guerre dispendieuse, mais honorable, en a été la cause.
Finally.
L'augmentation des impôts
Not
en a
these
été la
two
suite
again. Must
nécessaire
have tailed me from the
et a
estate.
rendu plus sensible leur inégale répartition.
In March 1789, elections were held to select the 578 deputies of the three estates. The listed deputies included such men as Robespierre, Mornier, Barnave, Sieyès, and the Comte de Mirabeau, who, although a noble, chose to sit as the deputy of the Third Estate. Most of the men who comprised the Third Estate were in their late 20s or early 30s. The plain black clothes worn by the deputies of the Third Estate contrasted sharply with the luxurious, brightly colored garments of the nobles and the clergy. Also, they were very slimming. Excusez-moi. Louis was never meant to become king, but his father died in 1765, followed by his two older brothers. When his grandfather Louis XV died in 1774, he came to a throne for which he was ill-prepared. Louis and his wife would fail to provide France with an heir for 7 years, to the derision of the French people. Even the celebrations of their wedding day would end in tragedy, with the death of 100 Parisians following a stampede at a fireworks display. An indecisive man, in the words of one deputy, the king spent his whole life saying each evening that he was mistaken that same morning. As his younger brother, the future Charles X, would say, now without irony, trying to get Louis to hold to a position was like trying to hold greased billiard balls together. Amazing that phrase never caught on, really. But then trying to get a phrase to catch on is like oiling a hammer and expecting a cat to marry it. You can use that one if you like. His 19-year reign would become increasingly agitated since the court was incapable of reform. Louis XV had merely covered up the nation's problems without actually resolving anything. His heir wished to be called Louis the Severe to contrast with the permissiveness and debauchery of his grandfather. But as far as public opinion was concerned, he would be Louis the Weak. Never mind Louis the Weak. There were so many men called Louis around, you could have had a Louis of the Week. What decisions he actually managed to make turned against him. The war with England, to support Franklin and Washington, would ruin the kingdom, and by 1789, debt-ridden France had reached a state of virtual bankruptcy. This situation was exacerbated by the trade treaty with London. The British, who were way ahead of the French technologically, inundated France with their industrial products, spelling ruin for French artisans. Some of these products would even be used in the revolutionary riots. While food shortages were due to bad crops and weather, those who were hungry blamed them on the rich. Meanwhile, pampered and pensioned in Versailles, far away from their roots, the nobility had become another adversary that would further undermine the system. The same went for the lower orders of the clergy, who shared the general misery of their flock. The king didn't see it coming. The nobles would bring about a revolution to which they too would fall victim. In summer of 1791, with the revolution heating up, Louis approved the perilous plan to secretly flee from Paris to the supposedly loyal troops in the east. The royal family's arrest at Varennes would spell the end of absolute monarchy. On August 10th, when the grounds of the Tuileries were invaded, Louis took refuge in the National Assembly, but the damage was done. Shortly thereafter, he was stripped of his power, arrested, and sent to the medieval fortress of the Temple, and from there to his doom. His trial was brief and ultimately only for show. Witnesses who testified in his favor were massacred in 2 instances, while the documents that could have proven him innocent were not passed on to his defenders. In short, it was a tragedy. Travesty. The judges had all but decided on the verdict from the onset. The absolute monarch, who didn't even reign over his court, was influenced by all those who surrounded him. What should I do? He asked the reactionary French writer Rivarol in September 1789. Act like the king, came the reply. If only. Louis, who had a passion for geography and great exploration, and whose hobbies were locksmithing and carpentry, was simply not cut out for the job. In my experience, you should never trust a man who lists his hobby as locksmithing. Excusez-moi.
C'est dans cette confiance, messieurs, que je vous ai rassemblés, et je vois avec sensibilité, elle a déjà été justifiée par les dispositions que les deux premiers ordres...
So, who or what will take its place? Another king? A council of capable men?
That is the question, isn't it?
A truce, then.
What the devil was that about?
Now, we can resolve this without recourse to violence, can't we?
Get him, Yuko!
I suppose not.
What's he coming at you with?
Get him, you...
Honoré Gabriel Riquetti, Comte de Mirabeau. Born at Les Bignons, Mirabeau suffered a virulent case of smallpox at a young age, which left his face scarred with pockmarks. His family was quite wealthy, and his father obtained for him a commission in the cavalry, but the army was a poor fit for him. Young Mirabeau became embroiled in an affair with his colonel's wife. When the affair came to light, Mirabeau's father had him imprisoned on the Ile de Ré. He spent many years in and out of prison, always one step ahead of creditors, and, more often than not, angry husbands. Later, while imprisoned at Fort de Joux, he seduced his jailer's wife and escaped with her. He settled in Amsterdam, where he became involved with various occult societies. Later arrested by the police, he was again imprisoned for 3 years in the castle of Vincennes, where he wrote dozens of texts in which he condemned the arbitrary nature of French justice, as well as an essentially pornographic text, Erotica Biblion. At this point, I should just say, this bed-hopping, word-dodging, erotica-writing, anti-establishment gigolo sounds like the most French man ever. I mean, he took French manhood to whole new heights. And when I say French manhood, I'm talking about his level of Frenchness, not his French manhood. Actually, I'm talking about that as well. Once released from prison, his life changed when, in Neuchâtel, he met the Genovese revolutionaries in exile, including financier Etienne Clavier, who would play an important role in Paris. These talented men formed the foundations of Mirabeau's group in political reasoning. They wrote, he signed. This explains his prolific production. Politicians have always used ghostwriters. He attacked the banks in his text in return for payment by another banker, thus allowing him to pay off his mounds of debt. He also attacked French minister Charles Alexandre de Calonne, who led to yet another letter de cachet and his subsequent exile in Prussia. When he acquired the certainty that the middle classes shall only be freed by joining forces with the lower classes. In any case, the nobility wanted nothing to do with this strange marquis. At the onset of the revolution, he was elected to represent the Third Estate at the Estates General. For all that, the inspiration for his political workshop lay with his friends. Mirabeau, an exceptional orator, was merely their spokesman. The remainder of his story is better known. His services were paid for by the king as early as October 1789, even though the court never heeded his advice. Proof of his secret dealings with the king came with the discovery of the famous iron chest at the Tuileries Palace, containing, among other things, correspondence and a list of payments. However, by this time, he had already been in the grave for 16 months. Prior to his death, when his health, damaged by his excesses, had all but failed him, his last speech was delivered by Talleyrand, but in actual fact had been written by Genovese pastor Etienne Salonin Rebaz. Oh!
Yeah, you're in combat, dude.
Yeah, well, I knew that, it's just
Easy, big fella.
Get him, Matt, get him.
Get him, Hugo! You can't take us both at once!
yes I can.
Ready for a beating?
No.
Not your day, is it, Victor? To your health, gentlemen.
You boy! So, what are you doing there?
Running!
Guards in blue are the police. If you attack or kill anyone in their line of sight, they will attack.
He's getting away!
Goozy! That's Italian, I realize.
Attenzione!
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just going.
No getting back in there now. Catch them back at home, I suppose.
Here's how we free run. Hold R2 to sprint and automatically jump. Hold X to jump higher and further. Hold circle to execute a controlled descent. And that's how you free run. Little concert.
It's a big party.
Yeah. Grape smashing. Oh. Sorry. I thought there was someone on the ground. I know. I just love all these little crowd interactions, animations that are going on.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed is joking a long way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Unity, I believe... Now, I might be wrong about this, but as far as I know, Unity is still the one that has the biggest crowds.
Bonsoir, Olivier. Has Monsieur de la Serre returned?
Senor de la Serre is not expected until late.
Ah, well. I suppose I'll just pass the time with Elise, then.
Don't get your hopes up just yet. Mademoiselle is at a private soiree in her honor at the palace.
A party? I wasn't invited.
Neither were the horses.
I'm sure she just misplaced my invitation. I'll find my own way in. How late is late?
Perhaps an hour, perhaps 3, perhaps not at all. I do not question the comings and goings of my betters.
I'll just wait here, then.
But I want to go to a party.
Elise never enjoyed these high society balls. She'll be home soon. Les tragiques. Too depressing. I could just slip it under the door. He'd see it the instant he returned. Le traité du monde et de la lumière de Descartes. Never could get through that one. Mémoire de Monsieur d'Artagnan. Elise's favorite.
3 Musketeers?
There. Safe and sound, and only slightly delayed. And now, to the palace. I couldn't sneak through a sewer in these threads, much less a ball. Here, here, mon ami. Let me take care of that.
Well, thank you, young man.
Maximilien Robespierre. No guest.
Arno. Le Chevalier du Télème.
Invitation, s'il vous plaît.
About that, I had one, of course, but on the way...
No invitation, no admittance. Now clear the queue. Next, please. Charles Gabriel Siver. 2 guests. Next, please.
Thank you, parkour.
Quite the turnout. Quite.
Time to locate the guards. Time to infiltrate. Pretty fireworks.
Let's just put in a short appearance to be polite. I'm tired.
As you say.
Oh, wait, I could probably sneak past these guys. They're just looking in. Hello, madam. No. Oh, I gotta get over there. Stealth mode.
Up in arms, and they're having a party.
What's this party for, anyway?
Not sure. Some kind of confirmation ceremony for the Delasere girl.
Sneak. Sneak. Sneaking suit. I like to wear my sneaking suit.
Is it shift change yet?
Go back to the party!
Look at that one. Pretty sure his shoes cost more than my rent.
Well, that sucks. Oh, I gotta go out the window. Ooh. You don't see me, you don't see me, you don't see me.
She does not.
You up there! Stop! Get down!
Will you let me back in if I do?
What? Certainly not!
Well then, if it's all the same to you, I think I'll stay up here.
You, come here!
I'll see you in the garden later, yes? Of course.
Quite the turnout this evening.
I can't remember the last time we were all together like this.
It must have been that business with,
And I would thank you not to speak of that.
Madam.
Anyone up for some billiards?
M'accorderiez-vous cette danse pour gentilhomme?
Merci. Un autre jour.
The only daughter of Francois and Julie de la Serre, Elise grew up in a modestly wealthy but incredibly privileged environment. As a member of the aristocracy in the waning days of the Ancien regime, she had access to the finest tutors, medicine, and food available. After her mother's death in 1778, Elise spent a great deal of time traveling, including several years of study in Paris.
King, new taxes are not a word of concession in a matter of representation.
What the lower classes have always needed is a firm hand to guide. Quite so.
And so I said to her, Marie, you call her Marie? Of course. I've known her since we were girls. We're practically sisters.
You and the Queen.
That's what I said.
The Queen who grew up in Viva and goes by Antonia among her infants.
Excuse me. I do believe I see Monsieur Necker there.
Did you see what she's wearing?
What do you expect? She's half savage.
Man, why wasn't I invited to this place?
She always did love the chase.
Where are you leading me?
You seem to have caused quite a commotion.
Well, what can I say? You were always a bad influence.
Oh, you were a worse one. Are you wearing one of my father's suits?
Are you wearing a dress?
Don't even start. I feel like a mummy wrapped up in this thing.
Must be quite an occasion to get you so fancy.
It's not like that. Truth be told, it's a lot of ceremony and pontification. Dull as dirt.
Well, when you don't invite me to your parties, everyone suffers.
I did try, but my father was adamant.
Your father?
Go. I'll distract them.
What? You're kicking me out?
It's complicated. I'll explain later, but for now, out the window.
Oh, no, no, no. You're not turning this into a repeat of that apple orchard.
Stop being such a baby. I'm sure there aren't any guard dogs this time. Go! Oh my! That wasn't the billiard room at all, was it?
We are pursuing an interloper, Mademoiselle de la Serre. Have you seen him?
No, I didn't think they can climb stairs. Not with those little hoops. And how did they get out of the royal menagerie?
Not an antelope, an interloper. A suspicious person. Have you seen anyone like that?
Oh, there was Madame de Polignac. Her hair has a bird in it. I think she stole it from the royal menagerie.
Please move aside so we may check this room, mademoiselle.
You'll find only me, I'm afraid.
I should get going. But yeah, we're back in Versailles, the palace. Probably haven't been here since Dad died.
Could have been on party duty, but no. Waste of time. There's nobody out here.
Go. You stay. I'm good.
To come out here.
10 to 1 I end the night cleaning a rich man's vomit off my shoes.
Sneak.
Hello,
No. Okay. We're good.
You all right, monsieur? Too much of the king's champagne? Monsieur? Monsieur de la Serre? Monsieur de la Serre!
Viva, come away! Guards! Help! Murder!
Mon Dieu, he's killed Lord de la Serre.
This is not good.
No, it wasn't me. Damn me, I wielded the knife. Please, have mercy.
Galia est omnis divisa in partes tres.
They're killing us! Oh God, have mercy! They're killing the prisoners in here!
That's enough of that, you degenerate!
Where am I?
In hell.
I expected more fire and brimstone for hell.
killing everyone! Oh God, help us!
The Marais. Located in the heart of Paris, the Marais district's finest hours would come during the 17th century when the many aristocrats who lived there transformed it into a fashionable district. In the 18th century, the nobility gradually abandoned the district in favor of the Faubourg Saint-Honoré or the Faubourg Saint-Germain. In spite of this departure, the Marais would always retain its image as an aristocratic district, which meant that, with the coming of the Revolution, rioters would set about destroying the many symbols of royalty and nobility that were found there. It was a wonderfully convenient sort of one-stop shop for those of the riotous persuasion. With the Revolution, the district changed progressively. The abandoned townhouses were taken up by merchants to form warehouses or workshops. The beautiful homes were thus preserved. And so the Marais became inhabited by more modest people who kept shops or practiced crafted trades, which in turn gave way to small factories and semi-industrialized trade in the 19th century. The Bastille was one of the many construction projects undertaken by Charles V. It was intended to protect the Porte Saint-Antoine Gate and its adjoining Saint Paul Palace. As the centuries wore on and the fortress became less useful as a fortification, it was used more and more often as a prison, finally being completely dedicated to that purpose under the reign of Louis XIII. The prisoners held there, who rarely numbered more than 40 each year, were most commonly political prisoners. By 1789, the Bastille was deemed useless and was costly to maintain, with 250 soldiers for a mere 9 prisoners. I had an idea for how to bring the cost down. Fire 247 soldiers. Their system is like having a plane with 1 seat but hundreds of captains. Hang on, that sounds brilliant. This was at the time when Paris was packed with prisons of all shapes and sizes. Nonetheless, it was seen as a symbol of the oppression of the Ancien regime, and when the French Revolution broke out, it was one of the first buildings to be looted and destroyed. The revolutionaries' quarry became quite literally that, as the mob demolished the building and put its stones to better use. Some of the stones were used to consolidate the Pont de la Concorde. Others were taken as individual or collective relics. Many were carved into tiny models of the entire fortress and sold as souvenirs. Delasere was left to raise his daughter Lise on his own. He died under mysterious circumstances in 1789. You see, this sort of whitewashing a lot when a notable Templar falls out of favor. Someone steps out of line or fails to keep up with the time, and suddenly the rich tapestry that is a unique, lovely human being is reduced to a historical footnote about how terrible they are. A bit like Americans and their celebrities, really.
Hello? I must speak to someone! Open this door!
Scream all you like. No one cares.
I must speak with Elise de la Serre! Do you hear me? Elise de la Serre! Elise! Bring Elise to me! I'm no killer!
You're wasting your time.
Will no one deliver us?
I recognize these markings. Hey, it's the Phrygian cap.
What are you staring at, pisspot? Don't bother me, boy. From where I'm sitting, I could kill you 7 ways.
Oh God!
12 if I had a spoon.
Human! The blood! So much blood!
If you snore, I'll strangle you in your sleep. That's fair warning.
I'm gonna probably sit on the opposite side of the cell then.
What?
Stay away from you.
Welcome to your new home.
Cozy.
You should feel honored. These days, the Bastille is reserved for madmen, deviants, and traitors.
You got a point. I am not one of those.
So the question is, did you kill someone important or fuck someone important? Hmm?
Neither.
Not that it makes much difference now. Here we're all well and truly fucked.
No! Not the hot irons! Please! Anything but that!
Where'd you come by this, piss pot?
I'm in no mood for this. Give it back.
Take it back. If you think you can.
Training swords in the south.
Are those training swords?
Dance, boy, dance!
What's the matter, my delicate flower? Did I hurt your feelings?
Get the bastard!
Well struck, piss pot. See if your defense is as good.
10 leaves on the old man.
So much effort for a broken antique.
The only broken antique in here is flapping his idiot jaw.
Say that again.
Got nothing more to say, old man.
Perfect parry. Come on.
Give me what's mine, and go back to your crazy drawings, old man.
Drawings?
These here. Everywhere. Scribbled like chicken scratches all over this cell. Where?
Come here, you little piss pot.
Put your hands off me.
Look at the wall.
What are you doing?
Concentrate. Concentrate. Come on, boy. I've had runny shits that were harder than this. What's the matter? Crotch rot spread to your brain already? Focus.
What are they?
Messages from the past. I had myself thrown into half the prisons in Paris in search of these. What's your name, boy?
Arno. Arno Victor Dorian.
Dorian. Of course. Pierre Belec. I knew your father.
Bully for you.
He died at Versailles. In what? 76? 77? December, as I recall. No witnesses.
How did you...
Your father was an assassin, Arno. He gave his life, fighting for the liberty of all mankind. If you stick with me, you might just live long enough to join the Brotherhood. Honor your father's memory.
Listen, I'm sure your little cult is a delightful bunch, but I'm not interested. The only thing I care about is finding Elise.
How are you planning on doing that from in here? Again! Ow! Focus, pisspaw!
What the hell is going on out there?
Citizens are restless. Keep an ear open. Opportunity might just come back in soon.
That was cannon fire.
Sometimes opportunity sounds a lot like cannon fire.
Secure the prisoners!
Follow my lead.
Born in New France sometime around 1740, Pierre Belec joined the French colonial militia at the age of 16 at the start of the 7 Years' War. He served with some distinction, earning a commendation for valor at the Battle of Fort Bull, but mustered out and traveled to France in 1762. As luck would have it, just barely missing a massive purge of the colonial branch of the Brotherhood by the Templars. Don't worry, those don't happen anymore. Well, hardly ever. You know what? Lock your doors, just to be safe. He seems to have settled in Paris, judging from the numerous arrest records in his name over the next 2 decades. He may have been at the Bastille in 1789, but no conclusive proof naming him as one of the prisoners has ever surfaced.
We haven't got all day.
Wake up.
Prisoners up against the wall.
On whose authority?
I told you this was going to end badly.
Silence! Stay back!
Prisoners up against the wall.
Stay back!
Right, let's get out of this shell.
You there! Halt! Pisspaw! Run like you mean it!
That's what happens.
Mobile invasion, perfect parries. Okay.
One of them stabs me.
I'll haunt you to an early grave.
Let's end this merry chase!
Yep.
Got here now!
Belec, is the door open?
Not quite.
We have a problem. Lovely.
What? You opened it? Hold on, I'm gonna take care of these guys first. Oh.
No need to rush on my part.
You've got to be kidding.
Too late, we gotta go. We gotta go.
Let's go, Pisspaw!
There's no junk in this game. Out we go. Hurry up, Belec. I'm faster. Of course, I also know where I'm supposed to be going, so...
Grab a gun.
We don't have guns yet.
Anybody serious out there? This way!
Fire! Fire, damn you! Stop the prisoners!
Don't think so.
Nowhere to go, prisoners.
Open yourselves! Prisoners, hold!
Ooh.
Give up!
I'm getting used to the...
Throw down your weapons! Stop right there! You die! Drop your weapons!
Oh, you. Nope. You don't have a gun.
How you doing?
There is no junk in this game.
Down again! Trust me!
It's just loot the bodies for money and resources.
I surrender! I surrender! Through it!
What are you waiting for, Pissbot?
It's time to jump.
What? Prison scrambled your brains, old man.
Drink took care of that a long time ago. Now get up there!
I can't, that's impossible.
Impossible? That's the purview of every assassin boy. If you can pluck your head out of your own arse, come find us. Make a great fit. Goodbye, Pisspot!
You! Back away from the ledge!
Sometimes you just gotta take a leap of faith. Welcome to Paris.
Isn't it fun? They can't dance like the cucumbers.
Please? That's some welcome.
One can't be too careful. Not after what happened.
Elise,
Haven't you done enough to repay my father's kindness?
Elise, please. You can't believe I killed Monsieur de la Serre. Your father, he wasn't the man you thought he was. Neither of our fathers were.
I know exactly who my father was, Arno. And I know who yours was. I suppose it was inevitable. You an assassin, me a Templar.
You?
Does that shock you? My father always meant for me to follow in his footsteps. Now all I can do is avenge him.
I swear to you, I had nothing to do with his death.
But you did.
No. No! By my life, I swear I didn't. Is that?
A letter intended for my father the day he was murdered. Read it.
Grandmaster de la Serre, I have learned through my agents that an individual within our order plots against you. I beg you to be on your guard at the initiation tonight. Trust no one, not even those you call friends. May the Father of Understanding guide you. L.
I found that on the floor of my father's room. A no pin.
I didn't know.
Neither did my father.
How could I have known?
Just go. Please.
Well, Reese screwed up.
Cowabunga it is.
Notre Dame.
The devil is this supposed to mean?
Looks like a rose window. Paris is now open. You can now explore the city or play the next single-player mission to continue Arno's story.
Who does that?
Lots of people. But of course, first... Never mind. With the price of bread at an all-time high in July of 1789, Paris was on the brink of revolt. Believe me, at that stage, it had been revolting for some time. When word reached the city that Louis XVI had dismissed his finance minister, it was taken as a sign of an impending coup attempt by conservative factions within the government. Seeking to arm themselves against this coup, a procession of radicals gathered and headed for the left bank, where they seized some 40,000 muskets from the armory at the Hôtel des Invalides. However, there was no powder or shot to be had, and so the revolutionaries made for the Bastille. At the time, there were over 30,000 pounds of powder and shot stored within the prison. The governor, Bernard René Delaunay, had less than 100 men, mainly veteran soldiers and Swiss guards, to hold the prison against perhaps 1,000 insurgents. Delaunay refused to surrender, and his forces were quickly overwhelmed. The powder was seized, and the prisoners, all 7 remaining at the Bastille, were freed. When totally attacked by the Duke of La Rochefoucauld, Louis XVI was reported to ask, "Is it a revolt?" The Duke replied, "No, sire, it is a revolution. You say tomato, I say tomato." Actually, that's one word. That one doesn't quite work so well written down.
You say tomato, I say tomato.
Composed in 1790, the song glorifies the events surrounding July 14, 1789, and recounts the episode that led to the taking of the Bastille. Rather than surrender, the Bastille's governor, Delaunay, chose to resist. The text is unusual in that taking to the Bastille is attributed to the bourgeoisie and not to the people in general.
Quelques instants, gris, blanc, 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 blanc.
This is.
Spent a great deal of time traveling, including several years of study in Paris. Seems likely she was getting a healthy dose of Templar training / indoctrination during this time. Must be nice to get your training along the French Riviera. I had to make do with a leaky shed in Wolfhampton. After her father's death, she seems to vanish from documented history, likely as a result of revolutionary efforts to purge records of the nobility, or the Templars trying to cover up one of their regimes.
And then you try to read French. It's just...
Again, I haven't taken French in like a decade.
Lettre de cachette? What is that?
Lettre de cachette?
Lettre de cachette?
Shut up. Anyway, first things first, we need a viewpoint.
Why would you do that?
To unfog the map?
There's a funky assassin emblem down there.
Yeah, but
Dude.
where are all the collectibles?
Dude! How about you don't yeet yourself out the road?
Hey, if he can grab, he jumps.
He has no clue.
If he fits anywhere.
If it fits, it ships. You said if it fits, he sits.
It's a cat that goes anywhere in the country for a low flat rate.
It's the times, Luke.
That's an interesting cat. I played a little bit of this before.
Part of it, and then, you know, PS4 itself.
Notre Dame de Paris. The foremost monument in Paris in the historic heart of the capital. Its parvis is the point from which all milestones on the roads to France are measured. Built over the course of nearly a century, from 1163 to 1250, it was one of the first buildings in Europe to employ flying buttresses, which allowed for much higher and thinner walls around the choir and the nave. Personally, the last thing I'd want near a choir is a thinner wall. Lock them in, then soundproof the bugger, please. During the flying buttresses also provide the support necessary for the inclusion of the church's famous and astonishing rose windows. During the Revolution, the great cathedral was variously used as food storage and a church dedicated to the cult of reason, and later the cult of the Supreme Being. Many of its greatest treasures were looted, and in 1793, an angry mob decapitated the statues of the biblical kings of Judah that adorned Notre Dame, mistaking them for former kings of France. This is what happens when the uneducated lose their heads. Only the 10 great bells survived unscathed. The damage inflicted would not be repaired until 1845. Now we are going to climb it. If I could get a foothold. Come on. Yep. Welcome to Paris, everybody. Of course, Notre Dame would be a viewpoint. I mean, who goes to Paris and not goes to see Notre Dame? Oh, dang it. Or no. Here. That's one way to hop up. Okay, gotta walk around here. Excuse me, gargoyles. Where's the way up? Over here. Yeah, it is. Whoop. Wrong side. Here we go. So is it true that they're actually using this game to help with the restoration of the cathedral after the fire? If so, that just goes to show just how detailed this game is. Synchronize with the viewpoint. Ooh, got something over here. The Patriot, 1789. The Tude escapes again. Years ago, Jean-Henri Latude made quite a career of his exploits, escaping from the prison in Vincennes, then the Bastille, then Vincennes again. This time, however, he escaped from a crowd of well-wishers trying to shake his hand. The crowd pressed a bit closely for the escape artist, and he was compelled to rush away. Jake's back. Following the hullabaloo we all rightfully raised on his behalf, the king has eased off and reappointed Necker to oversee the country's finances. Hear, hear for King Louis. Mademoiselle Lenormand, seer of the old city. The Ile de la Cité has its own sibyl. Mademoiselle Lenormand is able to see one's future using her unique tarot cards, designed by the woman herself. Treat yourself to a peek into what is soon to be. The good Marquis de Lafayette has been confirmed as Commander-in-Chief of the new National Guard. With him in charge, order is no doubt to be swiftly restored. The troubles of the past week swept under the damasked silks. Republicanism, violence. Surely Monsieur de Moulins paints a rather bellicose picture. Can we not turn to reason and dialogue rather than to blows? With all the advances made in this age of enlightenment, brutality would seem rather out of place. Okie doke then. What do we got in here? Got some stuff. Got 10 chests in here. Yet I only see one on the map. Arno, get down. Get down. Silly man. Aren't ah. Huh. Interesting. We need to find gears. But where are the gears? That is an interesting question. Just let me figure out how to get out of here. Who just fell into a river? There's no river around. Let's go get this chest at least. There we go.
Votre manteau vous laisse tremper, transi de froid par les plus humides.
It's 8 o'clock. Hospice des Enfants Trouvés. The meticulous chronicler Sébastien Mercier left evidence of the tens of thousands of children abandoned in Paris. Mercier spoke of those exposed children who were often left on the steps of churches. The most famous among them was the philosopher D'Alembert, or in the towers of convents. The Hôpital de la Charité, or Charity Hospital, was supposed to accommodate them with the income from certain fines, but new facilities were needed. With the financial support of Chancellor d'Allegre, a city square and a market bear his name, Queen Maria Theresa founded this hospice in 1670, situated on what is now the Square Trousseau. A subsidiary establishment would be built on the forecourt of Notre Dame. Okay, never mind. Sainte-Chapelle. The Sainte-Chapelle, or Holy Chapel, was built by Louis IX after canonized as Saint Louis to house Christ's crown of thorns, which he had just purchased from Baldwin II of Constantinople. Louis purchased the crown of thorns, that means. Christ didn't travel into the future to buy a crown of thorns from Baldwin II of Constantinople. He had ready access to thorns in biblical times. He didn't need to go all the way to Constantinople to find some bloke called Baldwin II. Also, Baldwin II? So Baldwin I suffered through his life with that god-awful name, then decided to give it to his son as well. Some people. The edifice is a unique example of seemingly invisible stonework since its windows take up all the space between the structural supports. Perhaps more extraordinary is that it was built in just 2 years, between 1246 and 1248. Believe me, I'm very familiar with European builders. Nothing else in their history has ever been built in just 2 years, not even a small wall or miniature water feature. It is set on 2 levels. The lower level was for Parisians and the people of the court. The upper level was for the king and his family. On important occasions, the king presented the crown, taken from the reliquary in which he alone had the key, to the kneeling congregation. It came close to being demolished during the Revolution, but would eventually be used as a flower store, a club room for the Section de la Cité, and finally a store for archiving old papers, which effectively saved it, since it served the people. It bore a sign proclaiming, "National property, for sale, until 1837. All the sacred vessels and precious books had long since disappeared." Up you go. There you go. Palais de Justice. This ancient and ornate building that overlooks the Tour de l'Horloge, with its elaborate clock featuring figures of justice and law, was initially built in 1296 by Philip IV of France, in spite of his financial worries. It was here that he consolidated the dispensation of justice, although the judges soon came to be infamous for their corruption. During the Revolution, the palace housed the much-feared Revolutionary Tribunal. Oh, I missed you. Hop down. There you go. Let's go for this chest. There we go.
Get back here! I'll cave your skull in, I will!
No, I don't think you will.
Well done, somewhat. One less rabid dog in the streets.
There you are. There's also a pamphlet over here somewhere.
asphalt. Fastening's the only thing I got in mind.
Really?
Where are you going? Stop! Because I need to hit you up on a lamppost. You down a bag.
Aw, I can't read the pamphlet now. Whoa, whoa! They attacked me first!
You're no sprinter.
Ow.
Damn monkey! Get back here!
You heard it, he called me a monkey. Where's this cockade? There you are. Journal de Paris, 1789. New decrees from the National Assembly. Many a hateful law has been abolished, from seigneurial courts, game rights, and the buying of magisterial positions, to immunities from taxation and undeserved pensions. They vow more is to come. A brilliant citizen scientists, Laplace, Condorcet, Borda, and Lavoisier, will publish a serialized introduction to and defense of the proposed metric system, coming soon in the Journal de Paris. The Ban Noir. Dubious auctions. Going. A private auction will be held at 12 de la Rue de Bussy on the 14th of Messidor. In dire need of sturdy wood and stones to repair your abode or a baptismal font to replace the old ways, knock 4 times again for Flavian. No question as to the provenance will be answered. Mademoiselle Toussaint's peculiar skill. The extraordinary Marie Toussaint is able to fashion lifelike figures out of mere wax. You would swear her artworks were about to breathe, although many of her models have breathed their last. Drop down, Arno. Thank you. Let's go for another cockade. Oh, it's on the ground. around here, except I cannot get in. The left bank of Paris is built on rich limestone deposits, the stone from which built most of the city. Initially, the stone was mined well out from the city proper, but as Paris expanded, it gradually covered even the mined-out areas. Since medieval mining involved digging a well down to the stone deposits and then tunneling horizontally until the vein was depleted, the result was a vast, intricate maze of tunnels beneath the streets. A series of building collapses beginning in 1774 proved that the tunnels could no longer be ignored. In 1782, Police Lieutenant Thoreau de Crosnay decided to act. By which they mean he decided to do something about the situation, not that he decided to put on a small play. Thoreau had the quarries within an area of 240 hectares surveyed and registered. He saw the old mine shafts as an opportunity to solve another pressing problem. What to do with the bones of hundreds of thousands of dead people from the Innocents Cemetery, which were so densely packed that they literally spilled out into the basements of adjoining buildings. Sleep well tonight. Thanks to Thoreau, 6 million deceased were crammed into the quarries, sometimes 30 meters thick. Among the mortal remains are those of Thoreau himself, along with 1,800 victims of the September massacres of 1792. Later architects transformed the caverns into a proper mausoleum, complete with the following epigraph by poet Jacques Delisle. "Stop. Here lies the empire of death." Bones and skulls were arranged in intricate patterns, and special chambers were set up, museum-like, to display samples of the various types of stone found beneath Paris and the innumerable skeletal deformities to be found among the catacombs' inhabitants. These unusual aesthetics have made the catacombs a popular tourist destination since the early 1800s. Yeah, for sickos. One of the most spectacular aspects of commerce during the Revolutionary period was the boom in printing driven by the explosion in the number of publications. Before 1789, censorship tightly controlled the production of literary works, including periodicals. With the Revolution, however, the printing industry blossomed. In June 1789, only 5 newspapers were on sale. By December of the same year, the figure had risen to 130. Among the most important papers of the Revolution were Camille Desmoulins' La Vie Cordiaire, Jacques Brisset's... Lizzie, can you please read these?
Le Patron Français, Jacques René, where are we? I don't even know where we are.
Among the most important
papers of the Revolution were Camille Desmoulins' La Vie Cordiaire, Jacques Brisset's Girondiste, Le Patriote Français, Jean-René Hébert, Le Père Duchesne, and Jean-Paul Marat, L'Ami du Peuple.
These papers reached a large number of Parisians, even those who were unfamiliar with reading, since it was not uncommon to find individuals who read articles aloud in the middle of the street to persuade others. I cannot get that cockade, so let's go get this chest instead. Pont Notre Dame. Although many times destroyed and replaced, in the early 1400s a few wooden planks served the purpose, some form of bridge existed on this spot in Paris since nearly the founding of the city. The bridge was historically lined with houses, but these proved to put too much of a burden on the bridge's stability. How about we head to our next point? Get the story going and at least unlock some things. Ooh. There's an enigma thing there. Whoa! didn't want you to climb that, but okay. And here we are.
I suppose a simple address would be too mundane.
Et toi, tu verras que le peuple donnera de la voix et qu'il se fera obéir.
Investigate Sainte-Chapelle. So is this where the Crown of Thorns is supposed to be? Very nice windows.
Perhaps the sunbeam.
That's a very pretty window. Okay. Oh, you... Oh, I still got it.
Did you?
Arno...
You suck, Arno. See yourself in. What happened there, buddy?
I was supposed to go on that little thing and then leap of faith in, but I misplaced my landing, and so it went cuckoo.
Yeah, so you suck.
I don't suck! I was just off by a little bit.
A little bit.
Took you long enough, piss pot.
What is this place?
The sanctuary. A place we can train and prepare, away from the eyes of our enemies.
Didn't we just escape from a dungeon?
It's not a dungeon. It's a nerve center. From these tunnels we can get anywhere in the city, all without being seen. We have eyes everywhere.
Really? Seems visibility would be a problem. Wouldn't you prefer something with a view?
This place has served us well for 600 years, Pisspot.
Mm-hmm. And how long were you standing in the dark waiting for me?
Not long. Guillaume spotted you from the bell tower.
So we do have a view.
Well, it was quite the entrance.
Are you mocking me?
No, no. God's truth. Very theatrical.
Shut up. We're here.
The candidate will approach.
Sneaky, sneaky.
So, the son of Charles Dorian returns to us. Belek thought you wouldn't come, but changed your mind.
I'm tired of running from my failures. Monsieur de la Serre, my father. I want to make it right.
The death of Grand Master de la Serre weighs on you. Why? Did you wield the blade yourself?
Does it matter? The blame still lies with me.
إن ذنوبه تكل كيلي. هل أنت متأكد من؟
أنا كذلك. إنه قادر على مواجهة المحاكمة. سيكون جيدا.
Very well. Out of the dark you come into the light. From the light you will return to the dark. Are you prepared to travel the Eagle's path?
If that's a fancy way of asking, do I want your help? Yes.
Then drink.
So we're going old school with this, huh? Way back to the actual assassins. This has got to be filled with hashash, right?
What's happening? Hello?
Interesting.
Cowabunga it is.
Trying to see if I can recognize any of these paintings. Hard to say.
Can't I go with you, Father?
Courage, my boy. You wait just here. I will return when this hand reaches the top, and there is to be no mischief.
Father!
Where is that boy? I'm certain I told him 6 o'clock. We should be well away by now.
Father, it's me! I'm here!
Bumbly bumbly.
Good, I did it. Well, you know, French catacombs.
That's actually.
Father, look out! No!
That's the note that we were supposed to allude to because his father.
If I leave it here, Monsieur de la Serre will see it the instant he returns.
Mon Dieu! He's killed Lord de la Serre!
If you can pluck your head from your own arse, come find us. You make a fine fit.
Go! I'll distract them.
I'm gonna be dead by the time.
He's already dead.
No, we're still alive.
I'm just trying to listen to the dialogue.
Haven't you done enough to repay my father's kindness?
Truly, I am blessed to have such a loyal companion, my friend.
Blade in the crowd.
You have to kill
Shay?
Yeah.
We don't know about him. No, Arno just never next one. He never finds out which one is fun. Even so, he's back in America now, probably.
These are the words spoken by our ancestors, the words that lay at the heart of our creed.
Stay your blade from the flesh of the innocent.
Hide in plain sight.
Never compromise the Brotherhood.
Let these tenets be branded upon your mind. Follow them and be uplifted. Break them at your peril. Rise, assassin. Arno Dorian is dead. He has been culled from this world, his sins and failures turned to dust. Tonight he is reborn, a novice of the Assassin Brotherhood.
Where's the Bernie stick?
They don't do that anymore.
Why not?
Inhumane.
So instead we drug you. Cut off his finger.
They don't do that anymore.
Then what's the point?
Welcome back. Now that you've experienced life as an assassin, are you willing to pick up the fight and join us? Deacon, load the file.
Coming up.
We lifted a media file from Abstergo last month, and the information it contains is astounding. But we won't share these things with just anyone.
Why?
By pressing play, you'll be joining the assassins. If you want to fight the Templar menace, if you're willing to save civilization from Abstergo's clutches, press play, sit back, and ready yourself for the truth.
What if I just want to watch it play, but then decide I don't want to?
That's not how this works, man. It's all or nothing.
You've piqued my curiosity, but I don't... You piqued my curiosity, but I don't want to join this.
Not an option.
Good choice. Welcome to the Assassins, Initiate.
I never agreed to that.
I just wanted to play a video game.
Exactly, I just wanted to play a game.
In the 1950s, it was theorized that human DNA worked via the triple helix model. Some years later, the work of Crick and Watson demolished this theory in favor of the double helix. Today, we know the double helix to be indisputably the basis of all life. So why did the triple helix theory gain so much traction? Why did Rosalind Franklin's X-rays seem to confirm it? It turns out that their initial samples had been taken from small traces of precursor DNA, the rare genes of an ancient race embedded in our own. We now know that triple helix DNA is the foundation of the precursor genome. It is the genetic Rosetta Stone of our age. If we can crack it open, if we can sequence the full precursor genome, there is no limit to the knowledge we will gain. Using Animus technology, precursor history will be open to us for the first time ever. Ancient languages will be unlocked, and ancient technology will be ours for the taking. Imagine what will be possible if we master the technology that underpins the pieces of Eden. Such discoveries would surpass 100-fold the splitting of the atom. Last year, we located a rich sample of precursor DNA in a donor whose genes contained human and precursor DNA at an incredible 25-to-1 ratio. Our work will begin with this sample. Our goal is to unravel the triple helix, sequence the precursor genome, and change the world for the better, forever. Welcome to the Phoenix Project.
Ah! What the heck?
So, this is where we stand. Last year, Abstergo acquired the body of a man we call a sage, one of a rare breed of humans with a surplus of ancient DNA. This sparked a search for more sages, in the present and in the past. The more Abstergo finds, the closer they get to their final goal. We've blocked their recent attempts to find more, but Abstergo will not stop looking until they sequence a full precursor genome. So, why Arno Dorian? Why chase an assassin through the French Revolution? It turns out, at some point in his life, Arno came into contact with another sage. We need you to find out when and where these meetings took place. If Arno was present for this sage's death, it might lead Abstergo straight to his body. Naturally, we'd like to find it first. This is where you come in. It won't be simple. Genetic memory must be tackled in sequence to keep the data stable. But we're confident you're up to the task. And you won't be alone. Other initiates, assassins just like you, are doing their part to end this fight. If you need more training, more experience, you can call on them for help. All right. Loading the next sequence. I've got something else for you. The more time you spend with Arno, the more data we'll have to increase your synchronization with him, and to activate his abilities. Here, have a look at this.
New assassin abilities have been unlocked in your skills menu. Let's see, I got 4 points to use. I could get a gun. Money pouch. Stun grenades. Yeah. Lockpicking, definitely. Let's go thick skin.
One last thing. While you've been busy, I had Deacon do some poking around in Arno's memories. Seems he was a busy guy. See that symbol? That's a co-op mission. I play a lot of games multiplayer. I don't know about you, but I thought you'd like to mix it up a little. These are missions Arno ran with his assassin buddies, so they'll give you an idea of what our organization's about. Just walk into the glitch and you'll get all the details. I've marked them on your map.
We can now customize Arno. What do we got here? It's gonna basically take all my money. I'm actually gonna save that for later. Bomb throwing, fast slide, air assassination, cover, ledge, lockpick, crowd blend. Mm-hmm.
Burn, baby, burn!
Yoink. Let's get through all these tutorial bits.
Yoink.
So I can actually look at the map.
Yoink!
Pont Neuf. This new bridge is now the oldest existing bridge in Paris. The laying of the first stone on May 31st, 1578 was a tearful occasion for Henry III, who had just lost 2 of his favorite mignons in a duel. The king was coming out of the funeral service and it was raining. Always ready for a laugh, the Parisians subsequently dubbed the bridge the Pont de Pleurs, or the Bridge of Tears. The Pont Neuf was a unique bridge in its time, the first to be built in stone, the widest, the most accessible, and unlike the other bridges of Paris back then, no houses were built along the bridge's spans. Let's go get this chest.
De quoi peut-il s'agir?
Fun. Get some creed points so we can level up. In 1601, Henry IV announced that a public square, triangular in fact, would be created and given to the first president of the parliament, Achille de Harlay, who had remained loyal to Henry during the Wars of Religion. Harlay divided the square, situated away from the traffic on the bridge, into 12 lots in 1608. The houses built were rented by artisans, tailors, printers, booksellers, and officers of the nearby Palais de Justice. Blah. Up until 1633, one of the main attractions of this square, then a clutter of little houses, was the trestle stage used by the famous Parisian farceur Tabarin, Antoine Gerard, who put on short Italian-style performances with his brother and their little theater troupe. His motto was, "The world is merely deceived by charlatans." Acting the Tabarin, faire le tabarin in French, became a proverb that literally no one has ever used. The original horse was cast in Florence and shipped to Paris in 1614 to await its king. The stallion stood riderless upon its pedestal for 21 years and was referred to by Parisians simply as the bronze horse. At last the rider was made, Henry IV, the Protestant king, who before taking the crown survived the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre. To stabilize his throne, he converted to Catholicism, possibly uttering the apocryphal remark, "Paris is worth a mass." Although much beloved by his people, he was assassinated while riding in his carriage by religious fanatic Francois Ravelan in 1610. During the Revolution, the spot on which his statue stands was used as a meeting point and even as a recruiting office for volunteers willing to fight the Prussians. I'm trying to draw my weapon.
I don't deserve this.
Yeah, you
I'm trying to...
What do you want with me? I'm gonna get up on you.
You're not so tough.
Some of us are stuck.
I'm trying.
We're not gonna take it anymore.
Draw up into squares.
Yeah, I'm pressing square. That works too.
Arno? Hello.
Hello.
I'm going to go over this way now. Ooh, pamphlet.
La révolution exige des changements et elle les obtiendra.
1791. The roads of France are open to all trade citizens. The Reformation was started by tearing down the tax farmers' walls, now sees its natural conclusion. Is France not truly unified by these acts? In the wake of misdeliveries, a terrible crop, and price irregularities, the bakers of Saint-Marceau, Saint-Antoine, and Saint-Denis have asked for calm. They cannot bake bread without grain, and violence won't feed anyone's families. Dr. Joseph Guillotine is attempting to make a mockery of public executions. Instead of proper beheadings, breakings upon the wheel, or simple hangings, he is proposing that a machine execute the guilty in a clean, efficient manner. Nothing could be more absurd. Executions are meant to give warning to the populace. The more brutal, the better. Mademoiselle Montassier, another wonderful performance. One dreams of sojourning in the midst of her plunging neckline. Do not ask this poor soul which play she was starring in. Very little seems important when her dainty figure finally makes its appearance in the Théâtre de l'Ambigu comique stage. Wear your tricolor proudly, good citizens. Show your support for a new order, one more noble than 10,000 aristocrats. An era of liberty, A society built on the principle that all men are indeed equal.
Get down, or I will throw you down.
There's no one on these roofs. I can climb as much as I want, so ha! I can if I wanted.
Les habitants de cette ville sont vraiment étranges.
Cockade, where are you?
Come here, you. That's right. What do you want? You sell tainted bread and have the gall to show your face.
I don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my friend.
Down you go. Shit. They'll light you up so much so.
You're welcome. Conciergerie. This palace was the seat of the kings of France from the 10th century to the middle of the 14th, when Charles V abandoned it for the Louvre. By the early 15th century, it was primarily used as a prison, though the name, from concierge, keeper of the royal palace, stuck. By the time of the Revolution, it was the main prison in Paris. For many, it was the last stop before execution, which earned it the nickname antechamber of the guillotine. The conciergerie was also called the most lucrative furnished lodging in Paris. Prisoners were allowed to rent a bed for 27 livres a month, but since many were executed after only a few days, jailers could rent out the same bed sometimes 10 times a month. Lucrative business, I guess.
Content de vous voir ici.
Thank you. Oh, you're in the building, aren't you? Dang it. Come on, Arno. Here. Yoink. Come on. We'll do this and then we'll quit.
What's the mission?
Mission. Let's get your arse in position. Don't ask questions, piss pop.
I live to serve.
Mission difficulty is indicated by diamonds. The more diamonds, the more difficult, and the stronger the enemies. Your player level is also represented by diamonds. The more diamonds, the higher your level. Buying new skills and better equipment increases your player level. 3 cover kills.
I didn't imagine it.
How did I do this? If I can come back around. You don't see my head poking out.
How did you get the cover?
I'm trying to remember how I did it.
Shit! Who's done this?
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Sabotage.
Yay, we're an advanced recruit.
Lord Guillaume de Roussel has generously agreed to our price of 40%.
An act of desperation. What about the priest?
He'll come around.
Your confidence is infectious, Siver. My boys will have the wagon ready.
Here are the details. Make sure it goes smoothly.
Of course. Make sure that it goes smoothly, cretin. When have I...
Murder! Murder! These bastards always have bodyguards. Well...
Next time, do that before he starts screaming.
Why do we hang about here when Siver still lives?
Speaking of who, born on December 1st, 1723 in Louisbourg, New France, Siver was the son of a lieutenant in the Swiss Regiment de Car. Ooh, the Swiss Army. Terrifying. If you find the idea of a bunch of men in feathery hats and leathery shorts standing around with pocket knives refusing to take sides terrifying. Like his father, Siver chose to make his career in the army, serving in New France and the West Indies before returning in Europe in 1785, where he opened a shipping business. Right, a shipping business. Very diplomatic way of saying Templar artifact smuggling. We've got data linking Siver to everything from funding Haytham Kenway's operations in the American colonies to the disastrous attempt to recover... Well, never mind. You're not cleared for that. Just keep an eye on this one, yeah?
He killed Monsieur de la Serre.
Patience. Siver is not the target. Not today. Come on. Council's waiting for our report.
Yeah, I know about them.
Got you! That's a lot of bastards. Give him a smoke. You're an outcast! Dropping the pace, dead man!
Oh! Come on!
You're mine. You can't outrun me.
Time to earn your keep.
besoin d'être Lavoisier pour comprendre qu'il faut s'en aller.
Where are you going, Black?
Toi! Oui, toi, là! C'est à toi que je parle.
I'll get you right in! Where do you think you're going?
Tu dois lire ça. Moi-même, je n'y croyais pas.
Merde. Patriots. These imbeciles will pick a fight with anyone. Try not to draw their attention.
Shouldn't we stop them?
Stop them. Avoid them. Doesn't matter. There's always more fanatics. Can't save everyone, piss pop.
Well, there's a cheery thought.
Extremists or members pay. Extremists and Reds harass the populace. They are paid by Templars. They can recognize you and attack you anywhere in the city.
It's a bus. Remy found Monsieur Arcanon's body in a courtyard not far from here. Stabbed through the throat.
He's on the plants.
Just trying not to strain your heart.
No, Arno.
Careful, Pispo. You'll hurt someone. I'll still be running when you're dead.
We'll see. Dang it!
You call that a run?
Shut up. No, son of a biscuit. I better not lose this full sink. It's an easy one. Son of a biscuit.
Hey now! Would you... Hey! That's not yours! Someone stop him! He's a thief!
Careful, Pispo. You'll hurt someone.
Shut up. A wooden painted bridge linking the two islets, the Pont Rouge, survived the revolution, but was soon destroyed and eventually replaced by the Pont Saint-Louis. Guards in blue always attack extremists in red first. Avoid attacking them to reduce conflicts.
You call that a run?
Shut up. Yes, I did it. Okay.
I can't believe this. We've not seen C there for a year, and you're letting him walk. All because his name wasn't on a bloody piece of paper.
The timing's not right. Too many variables, too many loose threads.
And if we lose him again?
He'll be at Notre Dame tomorrow, if he keeps to the schedule we found.
You might have shared that earlier.
What cheer, my friend?
You can replenish your tools, ammunition, and medicine at shops. The shops are often found near fast travel locations and in social clubs. Find more shops by synchronizing viewpoints to reveal more of the map.
So what happens next?
We take this ledger full of Templar records to Mirabeau. Proceeds to do nothing with it.
You don't seem terribly fond of him.
He's a politician. Sees himself as a great peacemaker. He
thinks he can end the war between assassins and Templars, bring the revolution to a happy conclusion, and convince dogs and cats to live together in peace.
And that's bad?
It's a self-aggrandizing pipe dream. The Templars are at their weakest since Jacques de Molay burned. We're running around after second-rate smugglers. All because Mirabeau wants to secure his legacy.
Monsieur de la Serre believed a truce was possible.
And look where it got him.
Well, the customs agents of France can rest easy. Arpinot's dead.
Shaking down imprisoned nobles seems a bit out of his oeuvre. What are the Templars up to?
If we hadn't spent the last year hobbled by your damn truce, we might know that.
He has a point, Honoré. The truce was with Grand Master de la Serre.
The man's been dead for 2 years. Whoever's in charge now, you can be certain they aren't sitting idle.
We might have learned more had we not allowed Siver to escape.
Siver was there?
I know your heart is set on keeping the peace, but bringing Monsieur de la Serre's killer to justice would count for something, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. But do not confuse your personal vendetta with a sound strategy.
If he wants to kill Templars, let him kill Templars. I've done him all I can. Boys ready?
Very well. Assassin. I charge you to go to Notre-Dame de Paris and to find there the Templar agent, Charles Gabriel Siver. You will learn his secrets, and when you have done so, you will bring him peace in accordance with our tenets.
Okie dokie then. What do we got here? I just need 100 more to get elite. I need 600,000 to get legend. No. Just walk away. Just walk away. Here's the way out.
Hey, Arno.
Hi.
Damn.
You are a co-op mission. I don't really care for you right now. Where's the viewpoint for this area? Let's at least get this viewpoint. And then we'll end it. Yes, we will. Café Théâtre. Opened on Ile Saint-Louis in 1759, the cafe was one of Paris's premier coffee houses for decades. Intellectuals, poets, philosophers, and actors flocked to its tables, and the salon was a center for political debate and discussion. Over the years, though, cafes like the Café Procope gradually supplanted it in prominence. By 1790, Café Théâtre was a shabby, run-down place, more likely to host a second-rate body comedy show than an impassioned debate. It experienced a resurgence during the Revolution and even opened several satellite locations around Paris and remained a fixture of the city's intelligentsia through World War I. It was also a central clearinghouse for the Parisian Brotherhood's intelligence gathering network, a concept that is so adorably French I don't even have the words for it.
Hey, you! What do you want? You. We saw you with What exactly are you accusing me of?
I didn't mean to do a smoke bomb. Oh well. Keep going, Arno. Come on. And up you go.
Qu'est-ce qu'il m'a fait? C'est du travail de sagouin. Compris?
Whoops. Excuse me. There you go, Arno. There we go. And with this will be a good place to stop. So, if you like this video, let me know in the comments. If you really liked it, press that cute little like button. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Luke Dog, and I'll see you next time. Au revoir.
Madame, là-bas, combien m'en offrez-vous? 70 livres? Vendu!